Welcome to Shor Machshava on the Daf. Shir is sponsored by Shlomo Zalman Weiss. Leilui Nishmat, his father, Rabbi Yisrael Doiv ben Yehuda Tzvi Zitzal, whose yortzeit is on Yud Beis Nisan. We're holding a Menachos Daf Ayin Zayin. The Mishnah, the top of Mudav, tells us that in Todah there's 4 types of bread. 3 of them are matzah, and 1 of them is chametz. The chametz was made from 1 isaron, and the 3 matzahs were made from 1 isaron. Meaning the size of isaron of flour made 3 of the matzahs of the Todah. And because there's a total of 10 isaronis, so you have a total of 30 matzahs. This is nergea very much to Inyan D'Yomo to Pesach. The Ramah in Orach Chaim Siman Taf Ayin Hey tells us there's a minog to do the 3 matzahs of Leil Haseder from 1 isaron, zecher lelachmi Todah. And the Vilna Gaon tells us, what is the Ramah referring to? Referring to our Mishnah. Because the 3 matzahs of Todah were made from 1 isaron, we have a minhag that the 3 matzahs of Leil Haseder should be done from 1 isaron. Now what's the connection between Leil Haseder and Korban Todah? So says the Gaon, the pshat is because someone who leaves jail needs to give a Korban Todah. And we're stuck in Leil Haseder, we left Mitzrayim. So that's why we bring a Korban Todah, so the 3 matzahs are connected to Korban Todah. In the Sefer Mishneh Sachin or Chaim Siman Kuf Yud Ches, that he points out, he says, I don't understand, there's some minhag that not to do mizmor l'soida on Pesach. Why? Because Todah has chametz in it. So therefore we don't mention mizmor l'toida. So he asks, if in Leil Haseder we're bringing matzahs from 1 isaron to remind us of Korban Todah, so why should we not say mizmor l'toida to remind us of the Korban Todah that we need to bring for the fact that we came out of Mitzrayim? So he's tamei on the minhag not to do mizmor l'soida. But l'chor the answer is pashut. What we're doing in Leil Haseder is only connected the matzah of the Todah. We know there's matzah and there's chametz. We're doing the 3 matzahs connect the matzah of the Todah. The fact that we're doing only connected the matzah, not connected the chametz, that itself is a raya that we're doing it and we're careful not to bring chametz. But if you're saying mizmor l'soida, which is referring to the Korban Todah in general, the Korban Todah in general has chametz in it. If it has chametz in it, I can't say mizmor l'soida on Pesach. And connected here, a gewaltige Kedushas Levi in Parshas Pekudei. The Kedushas Levi explains what's the idea that we bring in Pesach matzah and we get to Shavuos to bring chametz. We spoke about it earlier, the name of the Maharal, that we're going from machal behema to machal odam. The Kedushas Levi goes in a parallel idea and he says the following. There are 2 stages when a person comes and recognizes HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Stage number 1 is there's nisim, there's niflos, there's miracles. He says, I need to see HaKadosh Baruch Hu because I see all the miracles. But once he gets to know HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and he loves HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'chol levavoi, b'chol nafshe, b'chol ma'odoi, he doesn't need the miracles. He knows HaKadosh Baruch Hu because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is part of him. The miracle is not even such a big chiddush. Of course HaKadosh Baruch Hu can do a miracle. I don't recognize HaKadosh Baruch Hu through the miracles. I recognize HaKadosh Baruch Hu because I know who HaKadosh Baruch Hu is. Because I love him so much, connected to him so much. So he says, when Am Yisrael went out of Mitzrayim, they were in a very low level. So there, what gave them the ideal and connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu was the nisim. That's why they eat matzah. Because matzah represents that a person is recognized HaKadosh Baruch Hu through the nes. He says also, Pashup Shah, why we eat matzah? Because they went out of Mitzrayim mechipasan. Meaning there was so much miracles, the Mitzrayim pushed them to go out. So we eat matzah connected that nes. You can add to that what we mentioned, name of Chazal, that the matzah doesn't have chametz because chametz represents the Yetzer Hara. So it means when you see HaKadosh Baruch Hu through the nisim, all the other challenges and Yetzer Hara go away, and even someone who's very small is able to recognize HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's the idea of the matzah. But when you come to eat chametz, eating chametz means I don't need a matzah anymore. I don't need the nisim niflos. Just regular oilech yelech of my life, I see and recognize HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And bringing that Chazal back, meaning even with my Yetzer Hara, even in my regular day-to-day life, I can connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So after the days of the Omer, and after Am Yisrael goes out of Mitzrayim and gets to the stage of receiving Torah, now they're eating chametz as well. Now the Shtei HaLechem is coming chametz. Because now they recognize HaKadosh Baruch Hu just from the fact that it's part of their life, and not only because he's doing nisim and niflos. Continues Kedushas Levi and says, that's really the idea of Todah. By Todah we have matzah and chametz. Because when a person has a miracle that happened to him, stage 1, he recognizes in his moed HaKadosh Baruch Hu because of the miracle. That's the matzah of the Todah. But after he recognized that, and he's me'ayin and looks into it, he continues his avodas Hashem from there. He reaches a stage where he recognizes HaKadosh Baruch Hu even without the miracle. he reaches the stage of chometz. So Todah goes from matzah to chometz, and that's the idea that Pesach goes from matzah to chometz in Shavuos. So according to that comes on Givaldik. In Leil Haseder, we're focusing on the matzah. We bring a sar and connect the 3 matzahs of the Todah, because that's the stage where we're holding in Pesach. When we get to Shavuos, that's when we're going to get to the next level, to the stage of the chometz of the Todah, which we always get to through Todah. We'll get to the chometz after he makes Sir Soimer and reach Shavuos. So comes out the mahalach of Pesach to Shavuos is the mahalach of Korban Todah according to Kedushas Levi. Anyone who wants to join or sponsor the Shor Machshava Shiurim, please email shormachshava@gmail.com.